So coral reefs are threatened by the increasing ocean temperatures. So there's the fear that coral reefs might actually vanish within the next 100 years due to increased amounts of heat stress. To better understand why corals respond so strong to heat stress, we use the Persian Arabian Gulf as a natural laboratory because their corals can stand these incredibly high temperatures of up to 35 degrees on a regular basis. So we are looking for the reasons for this heat stress resistance of these corals, and we were studying the symbiotic algae that live together with these coral animals. For this purpose, we analyzed corals along a stretch of coastline of about 1,000 kilometers around the United Arab Emirates, where the waters from the Persian Arabian Gulf meet the waters of the wider Indian Ocean. And we found actually that the symbiotic communities, they change drastically between the two water bodies. They actually are not only very different in terms of temperature, so the Gulf features these record high temperatures, whereas the Gulf of Oman has more benign temperatures, but also the salinity, so the salt content of the water is dramatically different. So the Persian Arabian Gulf is very salty, whereas the Gulf of Oman has a normal oceanic salinity. So we simulated these conditions in our laboratory, and we found that actually corals from the Persian Arabian Gulf, they lose their superior heat tolerance when they are transferred to water with lower salinity. And that actually might explain why we don't find this particular symbiotic association in the Gulf of Oman in the outside from the Persian Arabian Gulf. Ocean temperatures are rising, and there's a concern that actually these high temperatures might kill the corals where they are. So some of them might actually escape their fate by just shifting slightly their geographic distribution. Obviously, there are barriers such as land masses or adverse currents or the lack of settlement ground, which might prevent such geographic shifts. And now our results also show an additional barrier, that actually the dependence on certain environmental parameters in their home habitat might actually prevent them from moving elsewhere. So they might get trapped in this temperature threatened habitats. That's a kind of paradox situation, because one should always think that these corals which can thrive under these extreme temperature conditions, they should be the one that would make it at the end. But it turns out that they are adapted not only to the temperature but to a range of different factors. And if these factors are also not right, they actually can't benefit from their temperature tolerance. It has been discussed that corals from these hot areas of the planet might actually help to restore reefs which are devastated by warming events elsewhere. However, our results suggest that this approach needs to be viewed very critically, because it might well be, while the corals might be temperature tolerant in their home habitat, they might not be in the new one. So coral reef management also should focus on other protective measures. So the water quality needs to be optimal for coral reef survival. One should stop destructive coastal development, and overall we need to work to reduce the impact of global warming.